Welcome along to episode 49 of the Don Michelle sponsored View from Section C. Senior, it's been 2 weeks, near enough, since we last recorded. We had the week off due to your work, but it was probably better that we never had an episode last week.
Junior, I don't even care what day of the week it is now with these podcasts. Honestly, I just wait on the text coming through and you telling us, right, we've got an episode this week. I'm sitting here thinking, I thought we'd done an episode last week. I can't even remember.
Nah, you're on
Honestly.
back shift. You're on back
Yeah,
shift,
but I
and we
wasn't
never
on
done an
back
episode.
shift. But I wasn't on back
Aye,
shift. I was on back shift, but I never done
actually,
back shift.
yeah. Let's
Yeah.
call this out. First
Yeah.
person being called out on the podcast this week is
Okay.
Senior.
Okay. Knock
Senior,
yourself out.
I can't do a podcast because I'm on back shift, and he's changed his fucking shifts at the end of the week.
Yeah.
What a shite bag!
Yeah.
I never even tell us.
Did we not do a podcast last? When did we do the podcast last week? Did we
We
not?
did it 2 weeks ago.
Did we?
We did it 2 weeks.
There
Aye.
you go there.
Th-
I actually I
Yeah.
I done a back shift on the Monday,
Yep.
and I think I might have. That was what Monday was 2 to 10. I think Tuesday was 12 to 8, and then I managed to wangle 11 to 7 on Wednesday, and then I think I wangled 7 to 3 on Thursday and 6 to 2 on Friday.
In the words of the boy down the road in Arbroath, GZ peeps, man.
That's what happens when you're in chairs, Junior. You should ken that.
Oh, unbelievable!
But,
so
listen,
I drove
is that
past
the
your
first
work and
call?
saw your car, and I thought, this is fucking
There
car
you
down there.
go.
He's maybe on back shift this week. Could have got a podcast.
Listen, they can't do without the top man being there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
What can we
saying.
say? What can we say?
Yeah.
Hell boys on top.
Is that you calling me out then?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Second call out of the night. The first from Senior is to the two young ladies that sit along from me.
No.
Yes. The Brownie girls.
So hold on.
Yes.
Before you call them out, I have an apology to make.
Oh.
So I got a message from one of the Brownie girls. I can't believe I call them the fucking Brownie girls. So Becky messaged me on after the Cardiff game.
Okay.
And I'm going to read this out word for word, so I do apologise. I am losing my phone. You'll be glad to hear that's us listened to the podcast. Don't think you'd call us your wee pals after tonight. I can't believe you called my brownies out as liddles. P.S. Her name is Lara, not Laura. So
depends on what. Well, listen, it depends on what side of the country you come from and how you pronounce it.
So that call out is going to be on Julie Ringcell because Julie actually told us it was Laura.
Yes, Becky and Laura.
So Becky and Lara. So the Brownie girls,
also known as the Brownie girls. Okay, shouting about the podcast and this and that and what happens. Did you listen to the podcast? We never get a mention on your podcast. How do we not get a mention on your podcast? Do you listen to the podcast? Oh, is it out yet? Exactly. Shouting about
like
getting mentions, they get mentioned and they don't even listen to
it. It's not like I put it out like a few times and we retweet it and share it in all the supporters groups and that as well.
I know. It's what? Listen, it's the same as everything else, Junior. We're no angry, just disappointed.
Disappointed.
So I'll be expecting brownies at the game on Saturday. I've got the right night. Yeah, we are playing on Saturday, aren't we?
Saturday. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And the other call out on that is Norma Collier does not listen to the podcast.
Yeah, but she started following it. She
She
started
did.
following it.
She started
Yeah,
following it this week. Stephen must have told her off.
yeah.
But
So we'll be expecting cakes for Norma as well.
yeah. Now, we're going to have to get us. You know what? I think we're going to have a segment of the show just called callouts, because there
Oh,
is
that would be
another
good.
call out. There's another call out, and I can't mind why, but I was at the Comets game at the weekend, and we're going to have a little review of the Comets game from the weekend because we need
Okay.
to discuss a certain video that's now surfaced on Hockey Fights UK.
All right.
Amanda, your pal Amanda and
Okay.
Sandy.
Okay.
Amanda, I can't mind what it was, but I tell her she was going to get called out in the podcast this week, and I can't mind for the life is what it was. So, Amanda, when you hear this back, you hate to remind us what it was, so I can call you
And then
next week.
we could call you next week. But listen, I like it. I like what you're saying. I think people who want other fans called out on the podcast
Yeah,
should get in touch with us at a view from Section C or at our own Twitter, our own personal Twitter handles, our own social media, and tell us what you want your mates called. Just be a DM so we could
yeah,
throw it right in, and we
yeah.
could have a new segment called Callouts. How good
And
would
it's
that
got,
be?
and it's got to be funny. It can't just be Billy McGuinness didn't turn up
He's a
again.
dick. Well,
We all know he's a dick. But yeah, so that's call outs done for this week, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Before we get into Stars Nation, let's have a quick discussion about the Comets Tigers game. So they've
Okay,
played 2 weeks in a row. I said that I was going to the first one. The second one was a bit of an impromptu decision on my way home from Bathgate. I was refereeing Bathgate, and I messaged Shannon saying, "Go and drop your car off at my folks' house so I can pick you up and go to the hockey," because I wasn't getting him in time to Arbroath and back to the rink. Saturday there, the first thing that really annoyed me was we had to queue outside in the piss and rain because the ice rink is so slow in serving tickets. I then went and stood in a queue in the cafe for about half an hour, 45 minutes because they're so slow at serving.
just you call me out the ice rink.
Yeah, it's so fucking slow. So slow. I just, yeah. But it was a charity game. It was all for Andy's Man's Club, promoted men's mental health. We've spoke about it on the podcast before. Absolutely tremendous, the work that they do and the support they give people. And I have to admit, the Tigers kits were beautiful.
Oh, they were nice,
I
weren't
thought they were smart as
they? They were
hell.
really, really nice.
Yep,
I must
and
admit.
and it kind of puts the Stars pride tops and charity tops to shame this year with just the change of the colour rather than actual any
Yeah,
differences. Other than obviously the amazing Halloween tops that our Steph Boyle, future
yep.
Buchanan, did. Future Mrs. Bucky. But yeah, incident in the game came from a Tigers player, and we will not name any names because we don't want to really do that. Tigers player, have you seen the video?
Seen it?
Yep.
Seen it? Didn't like
How
it.
how disgusting is that sucker punch?
It's you know what? It's something that should never have happened. I wasn't at the game. Don't know what was said.
I never seen it at the time.
Was was there something said that made the guy go around and sucker punch him? I don't know. But whether it did or didn't, it should never have happened. It's probably
The
it's
guy was tied up
probably
with somebody already.
yeah, exactly. It's probably one of the worst things that and hockey is violent, let's be honest, right? I think that's the reason how a lot of people enjoy it because it's violent. But there's things like that are sort of frowned upon, and
Yeah,
that takes it to a different level. If the guy that got punched, um, If he had then engaged with the guy that he was grappling with, then
Mm-hmm.
fair dues.
Yeah.
Then that's what happens, you know. But for the third guy to come around and then sucker punch it, I'm just glad he had his glove on, honestly,
Yeah.
because it could have
It
been
could
a
have been
lot worse.
a lot
It could have been a
worse.
lot worse. From what I've heard, I don't think the Tigers bench were too happy with what happened. He a 5-minute penalty should have been kicked out, probably. What was going on with the linos and the refs? No one knows there. The guy only had one more shift. Should should he have had to answer? He probably should have. Uh, I'm surprised that the Comet, when he had that one shift, I'm glad the Comets players didn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
because it could have been absolute carnage
Yeah.
for an absolute millisecond of stupidity.
Yeah. It's like I said it. Me and Shan spoke about it on the way home, and the only person I could kind of relate it to, because obviously it was a sucker punch, and then he went with someone else, and they're on the ice, like lying on their back on the ice, and he's still throwing punches. The only person I can relate it to was Chris Conboy, and when the red mist descended on Chris, that was it. He was gone. There was no stopping it. He was his head was gone. But
Uh,
it's like you said, I'm glad the Comets never did do anything when he came back out, because, like you said, it could have been absolute carnage. But I think it was
yeah,
more just the game was completely deflated after that, and I think it was more just they were worried about their teammate, and it was like, let's just get the game done now. Like, let's get out of here. Let's
yeah,
get him. Can't be arsed playing anymore. But up until that point, oh come on, that's point in a second. Graham Rogers was reffing. I spoke to someone today who's affiliated with one of the clubs, and they said that they'd heard from the fans. They weren't at the game. They heard from a lot of the fans that Graham Rogers lost control at the start of the game. I actually thought Graham Rogers had a good game. I think his only wrong call was the 5-minute major on the sucker punch. But as I know firsthand, the two linos weren't doing their job right and trying to split up the 2-3 fights that were going along the boards behind the goal. And then Graham's had to get involved to try and separate it all. At that point, 3 officials' backs are turned. You've then got another fight that breaks out.
yeah.
So, and this is where it then comes down to, when will that level of hockey potentially
Go to a
get
4-man system.
the 4-man system? If
Yeah,
there's a 4-man system, there's a lot of the stuff that
yeah,
happens in the game. You know, there was at one point, I think Robbie Hill got a 2-hand slash in the back of the legs, but he gave the boy a dig behind the rest back. And there was another point, Johnny, I can't remember who it was. There was a couple of boys actually looked over to see if Rogers was looking. Now he's up the ice, crack back of the legs again. And you're like,
yeah,
okay. But I genuinely thought he had a right game. But the two games itself, taking away that isolated incident, it was actually a very decent advert for Scottish hockey.
yeah.
It was Tigers, you know, what was it, 5-0? They lost 5-0, they
5
did the
0
score,
fast.
but they still looked threatening at times. I think the first period was all the Comets, but the game before it, the week before, that, you know, it was end to end stuff for both teams. It was genuinely two good games of hockey to watch,
Yeah,
and I'll always say it. You know, we've went to Comets games for years. I did the penalty box for the Comets. We've always went to Tigers games if there's a game on as well. If the Stars are away from home, and you generally can't be arsed going to Fife or even Braehead to watch them, go up to the Tigers or a Comets game and support the local guys, because it's ex-players from the Stars, it's ex-players from the
yeah.
Stars junior teams that are playing in both teams. So yeah, and one shout out has to go to Billy Hogg. Billy Hogg, we shouted him out for about his, what was it, 108th comeback,
Had more
and he
comebacks
gets
than me.
kicked out the game.
Oh,
Did
right.
you not
I never
know?
knew this. No.
So the first weekend, not the 5-0, the one before that, Ross McIntosh, I seen it from where I was sitting. Ross McIntosh was spearing the fuck out of the back of Sam's leg. There was a wee stramash along the board, about 3 or 4 boys involved. Billy jumps off the bench, goes over, gives him a wee push, has some words. Colin Connors, the lino, was the official, kicked him out, left the bench. Now, by the book, it is the correct call. He's left the bench to get engaged in an altercation.
Billy wasn't on the night shift that night, was he? Had to get to his work early or something.
Oh, I was pissing myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, couldn't believe it. But yeah, if you can, Tigers Comets games, get yourselves up to them, because it is worth it. So that brings us on to the Stars preview. So the 51 club sponsored game review. We have the Manchester Storm away on the Saturday night. So the Stars got off to a quick start after 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Carter Folk assisted by Barriga and Ryan Verrier. Anthony DeLuca equalised for the Storm in the power play at 19:15. Stars doing the opposite of what they usually do, conceding early at the start of the period. They scored early at the start of the period. Ben Soke, 21-31, assisted by Carter Folk and Johan Eriksson. And then the Stars do the usual of conceding 2 quick goals, one after the other. Anthony DeLuca tied the game at 24-52, and Tyson Fawcett at 26-29. Not the worst of results down there. I heard the performance was just as bad as normal, but go on, say it, Senior. I could say it in your face. Go on, say it. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be.
It would not. No.
A podcast episode if you never said
exactly. That's it. I didn't need to sit here. This is not really me sitting here. This is me for 3 weeks ago saying exactly the same thing.
3 months ago.
To score and then lose within a couple of minutes, I think it is, to then lose another within like a minute and a half or something.
Yeah.
I'm lost for words now. I'm absolutely lost for words. And it's now becoming a running joke. See, when this happens, people are stopping me when we're going into the games and going, yeah, see, it happened again, Larzo. And I'm like, what happened again? Yeah, the goals. The thing that you say about on the podcast, about the concentration, about we score, they score, start of a period, end of a period. You're like, everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. When I seen us going 2-1 up, well, we went with the early goal. I'm thinking, okay, and we got so close to the end of the period. I thought if we'd only got in at 1-0, it's a different game. We didn't, but what we did was we got to 2-1 ahead. But then these daft goals come in. But I'm thinking, honestly, deep down, I'm thinking it's still early. And there was a few came up. See the stuff that I read, they played okay, and I'm thinking we could be in here. We could maybe at least get out of here with a point, and it just didn't happen.
No,
3-2. It's still a defeat. It's still shite, but I just can't get out of this. This isn't going out of my head. That is happening nearly every week. I really, Junior, I wish I had the patience to actually sit down and go through every single game to see how many times it's happened there.
Yeah, I know.
I've just not got the patience to do it, or I would do it.
Yeah. But it was, as we said, we're you win your home games and try your best on the road and pick up as many points as you can. But at this point of the season now, it's try and pick up as many points as possible wherever we can and try and win as many games as you can. That for us, probably, or for me certainly, was a game that we had to win. Now, whether it was an overtime or not, I didn't really care. I don't think we're going to catch Manchester anyway. It is the three Scottish. No.
Yeah, well, if you look at it now, this is Thursday night. If you look at Wednesday night result and they're going beating Manchester, that's them now above Nottingham.
Yeah, so Aye, we'll come on to that in the league standings in a bit, but it then put a lot of emphasis, and I put it on the social media and the supporters group thread, that the Cardiff game, whilst they are still one of the strongest teams in the league, that then became a must win for us at home. So we welcomed the Cardiff Devils on Sunday night, and 2 minutes and 19 seconds into the game, Josh Batch scores. Joey Martin then doubles their lead in the second period at 31-40. We pulled a power play goal back through Ryan Verrier, assisted by Carter Folk and big streaky Ian Parker. We then take a penalty, and they score at 48-45. Power play goal, Brodie Reid. And then we...
Summed the season up, did it?
It did. Yeah, Ben Bounds with an empty net goal at 58 minutes exactly. It was very. You know what? I was listening to the Dode Fox going to work and coming home today, and McNichol had said about, obviously, Birigitti's absolute howler at the weekend, and said that's the stuff that happens to teams that get relegated. And I couldn't agree more with him. It is. But it's like that. It's very reminiscent of what he said there, that the Johan Eriksson pass back to the point, and no one was there with an empty net, and it goes in the goal, and the last player to touch it was the fucking goalie. Like that, it just sums up our season.
That's what happens when you're bottom of the league,
Yeah, and everything goes against you.
Yeah, top Paul's correct. That's what happens when you're at the bottom of the league. I was when it happened, I was gutted for Eriksson because he did not deserve that. Right, the guy's played really well for us. Since he's signed for us.
Yeah, I really like him. I really like him.
So do I. And I think he's given us a lot more in a lot less games than some of the players that have been there. To be honest with you, and I'll tell you, I've seen him warming up. That lad you can get again for United with the touch he's got, I'll tell you. I'm no joking you. He kicks that ball in the air and he traps it with his left foot, right knee, left knee. I'm telling you, that lad you could play. But shit happens, eh? The only thing that I would say about that, and it's an own goal, I'm not giving this Ben Bounds empty net goal push.
I know.
The only thing about the own goal, I thought his pass to the blue line was really hard. It went back with some pace. I think even if there was a D-man there, they were stopping that and it was still going over the blue line. But that comes under pressure. That's all that is. It's just pure pressure. But talking about the game, Fish, there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing.
No. It was completely a very deflated performance. You know what? There's one thing.
I think we're playing like a team that's resigned to finishing 10th.
Yeah.
Honestly,
look,
I hate saying shit like that.
No, I know.
It's my honest opinion.
I've been very cautious of saying it. Specifically, one guy, and I had a conversation with somebody yesterday. And there's one guy specifically for me that you can totally see it, and he still plays well, but certain players are now starting to look more disinterested every week.
Come on, Junior. I don't know if it's they're disinterested, right? Or I don't know. For me, some players look unfit now.
No, what that was what my point when I was saying there was one thing, and you were going
tired.
I genuinely think I just genuinely think they're just unfit. I think they've been unfit all season, and I've been holding back in saying it, but I think a lot of the players are not fit enough to compete at this level. I don't think they are. There's certain boys that are. Your Drydens, your Sonch, I would even go as far as saying all your Brits are fit. But I would say the majority of the imports are not fit enough this season.
I think
and it
I
shows.
honestly believe, some of the guys that have came in to this league have had the shock of their life. I really
Mhm.
do. Uh, and like you're speaking about Dryden, right? I'm actually waiting on Stars TV because they'll eventually begin to put it up with the average ice times and things
Mhm.
like that. Dryden's going to be logging 25 to 30 minutes a game again. Easy.
Yeah.
And could still keep going. I think if he played another game right behind it, Dryden would go another 25, 30 minutes again. Honestly,
Yeah.
he's an absolute fucking beast when he's on that ice. And he does not stop. He is constant. He keeps going and going.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how tired he is, how now he's a D man. He's getting banged up a lot. These
Yeah.
these Cardiff guys are big guys and they'll keep hitting him and hitting him. But he just keeps going and going. Yet there's others. I think their fitness or their lack of fitness is catching up. I think they've came in fit. I think their fitness is built up, and I think they have been surprised with the level of physicality in this league, and I think it's taken toll on them. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I just don't think people are fit enough, and whether that is they're not putting the effort in to get fit in training or whatever, I don't know. I don't go to their training sessions at all. I don't know what they're doing in their spare time if they're at the gym and their strength and conditioning stuff and that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I agree. I don't think they're fit enough
it's
to compete every week.
it's demoralising now. Like,
Yeah. Well,
and
I'm
listen,
wait.
the players will be demoralised, right? Let's not get away with it, right? They're professional sportsmen, right? We're demoralised, and we could walk away from it. That's the thing. We could just not turn up, but we do. We go out of them games, and we keep going back. We keep going back, and there was someone that I put up last week, um, and we were at the United Derby against Dundee in the 6-2 games, and they had the massive banner
One of
play for
one of the
one
six
of
two
the six
games.
twos.
Hey Ryan.
Play, yeah, play for the name on the front of the jersey, and we'll do the rest. That's what was
Yep.
said on that banner. So they play for the name on the front, and the fans will do the rest. But when it looks like they're not, and they're struggling, but if they're struggling and getting bit, they get bit as long as they put
Yep.
the effort and determination in. And I must admit, that Cardiff game looked like a training session for Devils at sometimes. It was
I
embarrassing.
senior.
It was
I
five
honest.
on five, and it was like a power play. They were just
Uh
recycling. Honestly, I got dizzy at one point. I just kept watching the
senior.
puck going round and round.
I honestly wanted to fucking stick my eyes out with a drumstick. Like I want to stab my eyes with it. I was that
Yeah.
fucking. It was pish.
Come
So
what,
to make it
Peter?
even more
And
demoralising for you,
there's nah. Come what? Just before I finish on it, right? There's a lot of people who will classify themselves as happy clappers, right? And even they weren't happy clapping. That's how bad it got.
so
When
again,
when when these guys that that are always they're always got a positive outlook, doesn't matter what, and they're always cheery, and me and you'll be fucking cussing and shouting and wanting to fight the world. And these guys are always so positive. They're now going, that was like a training session. There was no heart, there was no determination. That was a poor performance. It's like they've gave up. When these guys start saying something, you're thinking,
yeah,
something's not right.
I was messaging one of the happy clappers during the week. I want to make them leave them nameless. And they actually said because I'd said to them that you've been awfully quiet recently. I've not seen much for you, and their response was, "I'm tired, mate. It's hard for us happy clappers just now. Even I can't defend the drivel on the ice."
That's what I'm saying.
You
That's what
know,
I'm
and
saying.
and and that's when you
And
know it's the standards
yeah,
terrible now.
yeah,
It's no good enough.
it's really dropped. And Kim, what? We've always said it. We're no podcast that will slate the club. And I'm no slating. I am not
No,
being negative. I'm just being realistic here.
but listen,
That's all it
there's
is.
there's a difference between being negative about the club and reviewing a poor performance from the team.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's a poor performance, and we're reviewing that to say that the performance wasn't acceptable, it wasn't good enough. The one thing I will have a slight gripe about within the club was the coach's interview after the game. I've not been listening to them because it's just been the usual, it's not good enough, blah blah blah. This week's, I just listened to it and I thought, you know what, Jeff looks defeated himself now. He looks like he's done for the season now. And I just thought, you know what? If you're fucking done, then I'm fucking done. I'm out of here. See you later. I just turned the interview off. I was just like,
I
like the
can.
guy. I feel
So do
for
I.
him, but
So do I. I actually,
it's
I'm
his
telling you,
recruitment.
and a lot of people disagree with me on this, right? I think he's a good coach. I do. What you said there is let us down, right?
Yeah,
Is the recruitment. I don't know, he's maybe been blindsided, I don't know, right? But his recruitment or the team, the recruitment of the team has been bad,
yeah,
right? As a coach, I really like the guy. As but as the seasons went on and over the last few games now, it's always we didn't do this, we didn't do that,
yeah,
we didn't show this, we didn't show that. Now, I tweeted it and I says, if it continues, bin them, get rid of them, sit them on their ass. I don't care
hmm
if it's your top D man. I don't care if it's your top forward. If they're the guys that you're saying are not doing what you're telling them, you know what? Sit them beside you and play Ben Brown, play Johnny McBean, play Tom's Rutkiss, and give them shift after shift after shift after shift. Because I'd rather see these guys
yeah,
doing what the coach wants them to do and at least putting in the effort than somebody that's getting paid top dollar for
yeah,
Dundee aspect, getting paid top import money and is
yeah,
pleasing themselves. They're not doing what the coaches want them to do or expect them to do. Sit them on their ass or bin them.
yeah.
It's just me.
So I think it's 12 games left in the season. So about 24 points up for grabs. We are currently sitting bottom, a bit
So we
like
could finish
United.
sixth. If we win every game, we could finish sixth.
um, so we are 5 points behind Glasgow with 6 games in hand, and 5 behind Fife with 3 games in hand. We're level on games with Nottingham, and 2 games in hand on Manchester, and obviously, but I
Junior,
think they're well out of our
get what the worrying
fight now.
thing. Get what the worrying thing is when you look at that. When you look at that table right there, games played 40, right,
Yep.
and we've not even reached double figures in wins.
Yeah.
We've only
Yep.
won 8 games, 8, and then
Yep.
2. Is that overtime wins? So it is 10.
Yeah. So it is 10, but no, there's 8 regulation wins.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we've still even scored 100 goals yet.
Well, I'm not a Fife, mind you.
But Glasgow are catching up.
Yeah, Glasgow are
They've
catching up.
they've
80 goals.
they've conceded 1 less than we. However, they have played 6 more games.
Yeah.
So Anton needs to get at least another 5 shutouts and concede 1 potentially
It'd be okay.
to only
I
be
think
2.
I think yeah.
But yeah, it's a 3-horse race now for that last spot between us, Glasgow, and Fife. Um, we have obviously the games in hand on teams. The games in hand, you've got to win them. They are going to be against tougher teams, but we've still got to play our Fifes and that again. We'll look at the preview in a second as well. But yeah, it's not pretty reading that league
No, it's
table
not.
at all.
No, it's
Um,
absolutely brutal. It's absolutely brutal. I must admit, I didn't think that we would that the Stars would be in this position again.
no,
I didn't think
no,
we would.
no,
I
not after
thought
last season.
nope. I thought that
Mm,
when we changed the coach that had to be changed, I'm thinking Yeah, we're not finishing 8th. We're not finishing 7th. We brought Belfast Giants assistant coach in. We're fighting for 5th and 6th.
Yeah,
That's what.
yeah,
Honestly, I just did not see this imploding like what it's how it's imploded.
no,
Really.
no. But well, it's time for your show, your part of the show. It
Yeah.
is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Senior,
So,
take it away.
well, I've got two. I'm here to look at my notes. I've got two goods. Right. I've actually got two goods.
Fucking
All
hell.
right. One of them's actually a bit of sarcasm. To be honest with you. So the good thing is there's no lot of games to go. Honestly, it is really getting to that now. It's nearly the end of the season, and I'm sitting here thinking, thank fuck.
Yeah,
But we might go on a run, and whatever many games we've got left, 24 games or whatever, then we'll maybe win 24 games, and then we'll be sitting here and we'll be, yeah, well, remember episode 49? We talked shite, did we? But nah, the good, the real good thing, right, is it's the fans. That's it is the fans continuing to turn up in numbers because if this is Fife, and I said that as well on my socials, if this is
yep,
Fife, the numbers are getting halved. They're
yeah.
round about the 750, 800 mark.
And
And
that's even with their season ticket holders. You know, last season
yeah,
their season ticket holders stopped going.
yeah. And when have you seen banners up demanding that the coach is sacked and stuff like that? We don't. Doesn't happen
No.
in Dundee. So for me, that is a good thing that the fans are continuing to back the team and the club and everything. Uh, and it's get what? It's because I really can't say nothing good about the team. And that's honestly, and I feel shit for saying it. I could maybe come on again and say that Anton saved with an absolute doing, but we got beat twice. The guy's getting hung out to dry now. So I can't keep saying Anton. I can't keep
Yeah.
saying Dryden for what he's given every game. I
Well,
can't
well,
keep
you
saying
can.
Well, I can, but then it would be
You
boring,
can
would it?
keep
It would just be
mentioning
like,
Captain Fantastic.
uh, you know what I mean? What's a good thing? Yes, Anton. What's a good thing? Dryden. Next week, what's a good thing? Anton. What's a good thing? Dryden. We'd be here just saying the same thing every week.
I'll tell you what. One good thing is though, chips and curry sauce for the rank.
Stop it. The bad, so that's the good, is the fans continuing to go, continuing to show the support, and come up. We might turn that corner. Hopefully, the fans will maybe get them around that corner, and we'll maybe hit a wee run of games. We'll see what happens. Uh, the bad is just not picking up any points.
Yeah.
We had to get someone for last weekend, and we got absolutely nada. And the frustrating thing about it is that Glasgow and Fife are losing, and we're doing
Mm-hmm.
absolutely nothing about it. If we're picking up points when they're getting beat every game, then you can think we're going to get there, we'll get there, we'll get there. But it's never happened.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
three will keep losing. The only time Fife and Glasgow and Dundee will win is when they're playing in that.
Yeah.
And by that
Somebody
time
has
it can
to.
be far too late.
Yeah.
And to finish off, the ugly, sorry, Junior, but it's my mate again, is Ryan Verrier.
I agree. I concur.
Honestly, it's I don't care what we're doing with Ryan Verrier. I really, and he scored. And somebody said, he scored. But he was playing as he was playing
He was playing on
on
the
the
point
power
on the
play,
power play.
and he was playing the point on the power play. So technically, he was in the D man's position,
Yeah.
right? Ryan Verrier isn't a winger, and he's not a forward, and will never be a winger or a forward. And
Yeah.
I feel so bad for the guy. If this is what we're going to do to Ryan Verrier, right, for the rest of the season, I'm sorry. I would let Ryan Verrier go and find another club. As much as I like Ryan, you can.
Mm-hmm.
I've got his warm up jersey, the lot, right? But I I just didn't. I just didn't care what's going on with the coaching staff to play Ryan Verrier as a fucking winger because it's not working.
No, no. I know.
It's upsetting everything. So that,
Yeah,
for me, that's the ugly side of it. Unfortunately, is it's poor Ryan, and it's not through any fault of Ryan at
no,
all.
no.
So
So Craig Niche Decorators sponsored game preview, and why not have another third week in a row of previewing the Manchester Storm and the Nottingham
they're going to be
Panthers?
tough. It's a home game. We should be winning it. The boy Brodeur, he's a good goalie. Crack on. We need
So
to watch
I
it for DeLuca. Is Orville going
yeah,
to be back this week?
don't know. I don't know, but Anthony DeLuca with his 2 goals against us last weekend, he is now up to 5th top goal scorer in the league, uh, overtaking Barriga on the way. 22 goals in 34 games. It's not bad for the boy that didn't really produce in Sheffield. Um,
So I don't
the
know
boy
if
Simmons,
have you been on your socials today? So
not really.
some of the Sheffield fan, it was a Sheffield fan, said that Anthony DeLuca is in the top 1, 2, or 3 players for the number of shots that he's taken
Oh,
since coming
mm,
back, right?
yeah.
And
That's because he thinks
so,
he's shooting up.
and somebody says, yeah, it just goes to show how much of an arse Aaron Fox has made of it by not bringing him back after he served his ban. And then it got the big debate going. Is it because he's a big fish in a small pond at Manchester,
100%.
whilst at Sheffield, he was a small fish in a big pond? So take out of that what you want.
100%.
I must admit, I didn't like him. I think he's a wee dick, but I'd sign him.
Yep.
I'd
Yep.
sign him.
Yep. Yeah, the boy Simmons as well. 25 assists in 42 games played is a very decent stat as well.
Yeah.
But then you've got guys like Orville, Barrow, and Fawcett who jump in with goals and assists here and there as well. It's difficult. They do have a decent forward set.
Definitely do.
But again, I said it the last time at home when we beat them, it was going to come down to a defensive display. Who had the
Yeah.
better defense? The penalty kill. Their penalty kill is only just better than ours. Ours is worse, is the worst in the league. But theirs is only better by like 0.23 of a percentage.
Yeah. But
And
I'll
our
tell you,
power play is the third best in the league.
third. I was going to say that the power play is the third best in the league, which is
So
really surprising. But
yeah, and
what
that's
I will
where I'm
say
saying
though,
it's a defensive game against that lot.
yeah, what I will say though, I think the power plays went off the boil slightly since Romance isn't playing.
Oh no, I thought you were to say because since Big Sticky got planted on his arse for the
There's
majority of
also
games
that.
now.
Yeah, there's also that.
The fuck's all
But
that
I
about,
would
Jeff?
say Semyonov's is a big part of the power play for us. Really a big part of the power play.
Yeah.
And I think we really miss him.
Yeah. Well, the rumor is he's out for the season.
Well,
Again, that is just rumors from within the stands. That's not come from
yeah.
the club or players or anything like that. That's just rumors in the stands. The rumor is he's out. He had a moon boot on the Stars social media page when they were
Right.
recording him coming in the rink. He had a moon boot on. So I don't know what the script is, but yeah, you know
Big
that
loss.
that and it's also disrupted the lines in general. Now,
Yeah.
whether or not you think Romans is a good player or not, I know there's people out there that don't think he's that good a player. There's other fans that think, well, he's putting points up because he's with Sonch and Barriga. He's getting their passes and that. That's fine. Whether you think he's shit or no, he's disrupted. His injury has disrupted the other lines. Folk
Well,
having to go up. Then you've got Rutkus going at the second line. Parker going down to the fourth line.
yeah. I don't know.
That just bewilders me.
It's
Absolutely
Tombola
bewilders
stuff.
me. And
I
and, and,
sometimes
and
think,
I'm going to come. I'm off on one now, senior.
okay,
Parker going in the fourth line with Ben Brown. I have no issues with it. With another import rotating on that fourth line with them. However, that fourth line stopped getting rolled in the first period against Cardiff, and Ben sat on his arse, which meant Parker then sat on his arse because they didn't want to play 4-line hockey.
yeah,
Then he puts Ben on with about 3 minutes to go because 2 minutes to go, sorry, after the empty netter because it's a 4-1 game. if you're going to use the laddie and use him with guys like Parker just to run against their fourth line, you've got to fucking use him the whole game. You can't just
Yeah,
stop halfway through the first period because we've went one goal down here.
yeah, yeah.
You've got to
Well,
use it.
what it is for me, we
Sorry, ranting.
Semyonovs. What it is, we Semyonovs for me, right? And I would probably say that Bariga and Sonch would say the same. They wouldn't have put up as many points
Yeah,
if they didn't have Semyonovs on their line.
yeah, yeah,
Semyonovs isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I like the guy, and I think he's the perfect foil for Bariga and
yeah,
for Sonch. Because if you look at it now, Bariga and Sonch have went off the boil because we
hmm
can't get anybody to play with them,
yeah,
and that is a big thing for me. Now,
yeah,
I've said it before, and it's just unfortunate because the laddie's been away playing with Solway, right,
yeah,
over the past wee while. I would even put so they've tried it with Carter, and Carter got a goal, right?
yeah,
That's fair, right? I would even look at putting Soke or Ericsson and with Bariga and Sonch. But if they want to keep Soke and Ericsson together, then they've got to rotate somebody else all the way up the line.
yeah,
And for me, McBean then has to come in. He has to come in.
yeah,
Let's play them. I
yeah,
know that he's on a two-way, but guess what? We're his club. It's always know
yeah,
his club. We're his club.
yeah.
Let's get the
Sorry,
laddie in
sorry, Spud.
and let's play him. Right?
Yep.
We've got
Listen.
X amount of games left. Let's just fucking roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah. Listen. We're 12 games left, and we're sitting bottom of the league. Something has to change to try and kickstart the end of the season to try and at least qualify for the playoffs
Yeah.
if we're going to qualify.
Yeah.
Changes have to happen. We made changes to the roster in general, as in, oh no, Colin Joe left, and we brought in Cole Fraser eventually. Um, why not give the young laddies a chance on
Yeah.
rolling them on the third line or rolling
Exactly.
them on the
Why
fourth
not?
line and just run
Why
with it?
not? How are we going to know if Ben Brown and Johnny McBean can play elite league level ice hockey when
Yeah,
they're like
yeah,
Johnny's getting ice hockey, right? Ben gets some games with the Comets and he gets maybe 2 or 3 minutes with the
yeah,
Stars. How is that going to tell the ownership of the club if that laddie's going to make it next year in the elite
yeah,
league? Because the
yeah,
same will happen again next year and the same will happen the year after.
yeah.
And eventually what will happen, these two laddies will fuck off someplace else
Yep, happens all the
and go
time.
and get ice time someplace else.
Yeah,
Like what's happened with Cali. Like what's
yep.
happened with
I think
Matt
Joko did it.
Howlett. Yeah, Jordan. A lot of them, they'll take off.
Yeah,
And what happens then when your local laddies leave? You're struggling.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Manchester on the Saturday,
Manchester,
Nottingham away on the
it's got to
Sunday.
win.
Yeah,
We've got to win
Nottingham
against
away on the
Manchester.
Sunday. Uh,
Yeah,
our old pal Fabrizio Ricci will obviously be playing, I think, or is he injured again?
don't know.
God knows. Woliczka is their sixth top point scorer in the league, so fifth top point scorer in DeLuca on the Saturday, sixth top goal scorer in Woliczka, 21 goals in 35 games. You've then their next closest one is then Sorensen and Adam Brady on 12 goals.
Yeah.
David Levin, however he says
Leaving.
it, 20 assists in 37 games. I didn't know that he is actually Israeli.
Is he? There
Yes,
you go.
that's the flag. It's next. His name is Israel.
So
I
I'm
was
going to say his
surprised
name's
at that.
Levin then instead of Leaving.
Levin, aye. So Woliczka is their top point scorer with 30 points. You've then got guys like Hammond on 29, Brady and Welsh over 25 plus each. It's a tough game, Nottingham away.
Both. Listen, Junior. Both games will be tough because these guys have got decent netminders.
Yeah.
Brador, obviously for Manchester, and then Peyton Jones at Nottingham.
Oh fuck! I forgot he was there. I was hoping it was going to be a Debo meltdown.
Listen, it might be Debo, and they might play Debo. I don't know, but
You don't know
It could
if
be.
it's the
I don't
Bo.
know if it's going to be Debo. So it's going to be Debo or Jones. Either way, good goalies, and
Yeah,
we're going to struggle.
yeah.
I think we need 2 points at home to
Predictions.
Manchester. Yeah, 2 points at home to Manchester, and this is the hope, right? This is not the prediction, and a point on the road.
Prediction for me is 1 point over the weekend, and it's an overtime loss to Storm.
Okay. Here's the hope for me as well, right? Is that he lets Fraser and Leisman and Folk and Parker, he lets them off the leash and he lets them run fucking riot.
No gonna happen.
Just go and do it. Did I
No
care?
gonna happen.
Just do it.
Yeah, so aye, it's for me. It's a minimum of 2 points, but I think it's going to be one that we'll actually get. Sorry, folks, but I'm being realistic this week after recent
Yeah,
performances.
I'll be the pessimist then. I'll say 2 points at home to Manchester and
Optimist,
one
you
on the road.
optimist, you tit.
No, pessimist. Pessimist. I was expecting 4 points.
So it brings us on to the next segment, which is on this day. Now, not a lot happened as of the recording on Thursday, the 23rd of February. Not a lot has happened in Stars history. From what I could see, there was, certainly in the Elite League era, there's no birthdays on the 23rd of February. There was one game in the Elite League era on the 23rd of February. We were at home to the Nottingham Panthers, in which we lost by 3-1. Our lone goal scorer was Mr. Jordan Cowney, one of our own. Always will be. We had one leaver on this day, senior, in the Elite League.
Okay.
Can you name him?
Oh, here gives a clue.
Not like it's later in the season. Surely that's what you should be thinking. Give you a clue. It was last
Right.
season. Billy McGuinness was absolutely heartbroken. Marcus Campera left
All right.
on this day last year. And also on this day last season, we signed the heavyweight champion of the world himself, Mr. Calvis Ozils. That is the only things that we really need to listen. I've tried to go through loads of the history stuff and that online, and there's nothing really from the BNL or the SNL or that. But that certainly the Elite League stuff on this day, not a lot has happened. There's no birthdays, one signer, one leaver, and one game.
Oh well.
So
There you
that is your on this day. So that's it for this week. We are still a bit undecided. Now, episode 50 was due to be with some of the fans. However, Senior himself is away next week, and
Yes.
Wi-Fi might be a bit dodgy. We don't know. So I don't think we're going to get any fans on. We're going to attempt a show next week. If we can't, then you're getting fuck all for a week. You're getting no preview.
You're getting fuck all for a week.
You're getting no preview for the following weekend's games.
Way to bring the fans in, Junior.
But so yeah, we will attempt a show next week.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we can't make it the big hoo-ha that it was going to be as in episode 50. But we will. What I'm thinking is we might try and do a delayed special episode on episode 51 rather than episode 50, so that we've got something to kind of mark a special show for us that we've went 50 episodes of the podcast. But as usual, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching on the YouTube channel. Behave yourselves, especially after the wee announcement from Mr. McCartney last weekend.
I know.
And
Shocking.
He always reminds you at the start of the game to moderate the
know.
language.
I
Always
know.
remind you. However, that's the first time I think it's ever been announced during the game
I
to
know.
behave yourself. So whoever you
Yes.
are, behave yourself, and don't let
Yes.
Mr. McCartney and I
Call
and
you
I,
out
and
again.
I used Mr. McCartney with him being the guidance teacher that he is.
Yeah.
Do not allow Mr. McCartney to come out and just let him be Andy at the weekend.
I know. I know.
So
And it wasn't even section C.
no, I don't think it was. I don't
Neither
think
do
it
I.
was. I didn't even think it was A, B, or D. It
Yeah.
wasn't our side of the rink for once.
Yeah.
But
All those misbehaviours on the
on
other
that
side.
note, enjoy what is obviously Thursday night. Enjoy your Friday and enjoy your weekend. We will see you at the rink and hopefully at least 2 points to speak about.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. But we will see you on Saturday.